All right, all right. It is your favorite political innovator, David Washington, back with another episode of Ground Zero Florida. It's been a minute, hasn't it been? So let's get right into it. We're talking about Alligator Alcatraz, Florida's immigration prison in the swamp. They're calling it Alligator Alcatraz because it is a detention center or fortress, maybe, buried deep in the Everglades. It's a new prison with a new message. You cross the border, and this is where you end up. But is it justice or is it just political theater in the swamp? So, Alligator Alcatraz is an informal, media coined term referring to a proposed immigration detention center here in the Everglades. It's been federally backed and tied directly to President Trump's immigration policy platform for 2025. The site is remote, surrounded by swamplands, snakes, alligators, notoriously difficult to access, and thus the nickname invoking the infamously inescapable island prison over there in California. Alligator Alcatraz was developed in partnership with private contractors and state officials sympathetic to Trump's agenda. This facility will detain undocumented immigrants prior to deportation, and there's an emphasis specifically on high risk detainees or recent border crossers. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of media attention to this facility. And as we discuss more, we're learning that this facility is just another iteration of Trump's law and order immigration vision. Deterrence through harsh conditions. The isolation and harsh environment send a signal to would be border crossers that the detention won't be easy or comfortable. Florida is now the new battleground for immigration policy. By placing the facility in Florida, far from the southern border, it frames the immigration enforcement as a national issue, not just a border one, and thus turns Florida into a symbolic front line. There's this state and federal alliance with Florida's GOP leadership, particularly Governor Ron DeSantis, who has shown incredible support for deploying state resources to immigration crackdowns. This facility represents federal state alignment on policy under a possible new iteration in the Trump immigration policy. So there's a lot of conversation going on about how detrimental Alligator Alcatraz could be to people's civil liberties, their access to immigration advocates, legal concerns, environmental concerns. In regards to civil liberties, immigration advocates like the ACLU and the Florida Immigration Coalition call it a human rights violation, citing this remote location, lack of access to legal counsel, and dangerous environmental conditions. They liken it to a deportation black site. Environmentalists, like the Sierra Club, argue that the detention center would threaten wildlife and a very sensitive and fragile ecosystem. So, this may set back restoration efforts of the Everglades, of that particular area that environmentalists are concerned about. Local residents in tribal nations, which I found in my research, is this was very curious. Some Native American advocates, like the Seminole tribe, have spoken out against the proposal to have this detention center, to have this detention center located in the area that is sensitive to them. It disregards sacred lands and treaty rights. So you have that component. And then, of course, legal critics argue that the location's remoteness may violate due process standards by limiting detainees' access to courts, legal aid, and medical services. It's a lot of issues here. Um, there's one thing I do want to take from all this. What DeSantis, Florida government, Trump, the federal government coming together and creating this detention center in the Everglades shows action. Action that many Americans, according to polls that I have seen on legacy media, have shown that people want our government to protect them, to secure the American way of life with an aggressive immigration policy. I remember once, shout out to my friend Daniel, uh, we were working on a campaign, and there was a particular strategy that we needed to iron out. And we needed to move very quickly because time was running out. And so we had our brain trust together in our conference room. And I was leading this particular strategy for this campaign. And one of our junior associates had an idea about how the strategy should move. And my business partner at the time, one of the chief strategists with me, was debating his point of view. And what the junior associate was saying has some validity. However, we needed some facts. We needed some logistics. We needed more than just his feelings about how we should move in a particular direction. And our senior strategist would say, "Hey, I don't care how you feel. Give me some numbers. Give me something concrete. Give me something that is actionable. We need to act now. And tell me logistically how we do this and what are the anticipated results." The junior associate, well, I feel. No, the time for feelings have long gone. We need action. What are we going to do? What is it that you know? Not what you feel, but what you know. What do you know what to do so that we can win this race? And so that was just like, wow, like boom. That was a moment that I realized there's a lot of feelings in politics. And what makes campaigns, what makes administrations, what make candidates or even electeds successful is moving from feelings. And this goes for advocacy groups and so forth and so on. Moving from feelings and having a plan of action. And regardless of where you are in this particular debate about immigration policy and what Americans are seeing with this Trump administration and now DeSantis here in Florida, is that they have moved towards actionable policy and enacted what they believe is the best course to take in resolving the illegal migration issue here in America. Action, action, action. Go ahead and protest. Go ahead and, wave your signs and so forth and so on. But what is your plan? What is your plan of action? We have far moved away from having meetings and the conversations and even the protests. What establish policy and put a sense immigration legislation in the future. So I'll wrap it up in regards to Alligator Alcatraz. Um, Alligator Alcatraz is more than just a detention center. It's political theater. Um, for the Trump administration, it projects strength and deterrence. For opponents to Alligator Alcatraz, it's dystopian and dangerous. Again, either way, Florida is once again in the national spotlight. However, this time, ground zero is right here in the immigration wars. So, on that note, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining me for Ground Zero, Florida. It has been a while, and I hope to get back into the swing of things because it's been so busy lately, and get some guests involved and all that stuff. But again, please like, share, hit the notification button. We are back. There's a ton of content that I have saved up that I need to talk to you all about. However, stick with us. It's going to be worth it, especially as the election cycle, really revs up. So, for your friends and family, those influencers that you know, those candidates and electeds that you know, who you believe can benefit from our content, please share it with them. Tell them about it. Let them know what we're all about. Not just Ground Zero Florida, but also From the Marches with Jimmy Alfine. That has been phenomenal for us. The David Washington Show. I got some episodes coming up soon for the David Washington Show. Countertop Politics every Monday, 5 minutes thereof. Campaign insight, political innuendo, and the secret sauce to winning campaigns. Of course, that's my personal professional journal of everything that I've done in politics over the last 30 plus years that I'm sharing with you all. So again, thank you again. This is